So we are live. Take it
Well,
away, Scott.
it is such a pleasure to be here. It's literally 11:11 in my time zone, and it's 11:11 November 11th, right? So happy Veterans Day. And my thoughts are really with my dad a lot right now. He's had a really rough week. He basically lost his sight all in one moment with a stroke, and he's an older guy. He served in the South Pacific. So today I was able to go and put that hat on his head and take a picture of him. He's such an incredible guy and has such a wonderful attitude. And not only him, but any of the vets that have served in any of the countries to give service is just amazing. And on that day, I can't remember what year it was, 11/11. But when they signed that treaty, I wish everybody got the memo that that was supposed to end all wars, because it didn't seem to happen. We keep having wars. Dana, we lose too many of our good men. But my dad had a pretty dangerous assignment that he was doing, especially in the South Pacific. He worked on a tanker, which was the ships in the fleets that carried the fuel, which was very flammable. So the submarines loved to shoot. One torpedo would be all it would take, and they'd take out all the supply and all the sailors on the tankers. So it was like their favorite target. They loved to take out the tankers. So anyway, he did that, for about a year. So he got into the service and got his training and was in the Atlantic, and he got around a little bit. So I guess I'm the son of a sailorman, or a son of a sailorman. So anyway, I just wanted to say, how much I appreciate him. My thoughts are really with him right now. So he's not in his normal bed. But he's having fun chasing around the nurses, and you wouldn't think a 99-year-old could do that. He's an amazing dude. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to start off with that. This is Up in the Night, and we have been doing this show for quite a while. Usually John's with us, but I think he's just trying to figure out something on his connection. But as it's my understanding that this is our 125th or so episode. So we usually just talk about things that keep us up in the night. And I'm just curious how everybody's been doing, and how have your dreams been? Those types of things. What is going on around the world?
Hey, Scott. Hi, everyone. Yeah, it's a lot of things going on around, right? And I think we've been out of action for a while now. About a couple weeks, we haven't aired any of our live programs for about a month, maybe 2 months now, right? We've been kind of quiet. Yeah. Let me switch screens a little bit easier to view. But it's a Veterans Day today, and I have today off, and I want to give it a shout out to also my father-in-law, who's a retired veteran in the Navy. He was stationed USS Jason. It's one of the ships out here in the Pacific. And also to my brother too. He's a veteran in the Air Force. So I know they give a lot, and especially around this time we have a lot of blames. We blame other people for many things. But we can't deny the sacrifices that the veterans and the soldiers gave, and their families as well too. So it's to allow us to do what we do. So it's a big honor, to be celebrating for today for them. But how's everyone too? I know we just had a show before and we were talking about veterans. So
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Scott. And I'm sorry to hear about your dad.
yeah,
But he is such a strong spirit. My goodness, at 99, he still looked young and vibrant. If you didn't tell me that he was having a stroke, I could never tell that he had one. But our prayers and love to your dad, and thank you to his service as well.
Thank you kindly. Yeah,
Yeah.
all the vets need a nice applause.
Yeah. I don't think
Seems
we.
late in the day, but it's just yeah, it's not even 11:11 where Jane is.
Yeah, I'm in the future. Actually, I can tell you guys that my grandfather, he was a veteran, but he died in the 70s before I was 1 year. He died my first year on this planet. But he was a self-taught engineer and he built machines for tanks and boats mostly. So he served during the Second World War and he actually got injured. He survived. He didn't lose any limbs or anything, but he was hit in his head and had a little chip inside they couldn't get out. And this inflicted him badly and his family because he could not control himself, his temper, or anything. So this was actually, and also he couldn't work anymore. And he loved to work and build instruments. I mean, musical instruments and gadgets for machines. And he was the one they called because he was back then. You could actually, if you were self-taught and had a natural, talent and affinity to do stuff, you could get a job. And he was sought after because of his mechanical skills. So for him, this was a loss of, you know, he suffered because he couldn't provide for his family anymore. So this is also something to think about. But sorry for bringing such a bad topic. Yeah, I'm very grateful for your dad being so high-spirited at the age of 99 and still chasing girls.
oh, we finally got John on, so he's
Yeah.
able to get onto this new platform. Let me just get him in. So, by the way, if you haven't noticed, we're on a new platform now.
Hi,
So,
John.
hi, John. It's good to have you.
You did it.
I'm glad you made it, John.
I don't like technology. You guys do this for me and you mess me up.
Yeah, we
Too
can tell.
special.
You did
Yeah.
great, John. Look, John,
Yeah.
look, you and I must have a memo.
More hoops to jump through.
You need to
Yeah,
attract,
I'm
the
old.
right
I don't jump through hoops very well.
Oops. Yeah.
So, Jane, sorry to hear about your grandfather.
No, don't be sorry. Yeah.
No, and there are veterans that are out there that are suffering through the trauma and whatnot, and we don't really truly understand and comprehend. And so it's great that we acknowledge that aspect as well because they go through a lot.
Yeah, life
Yeah.
is like that, isn't it? It's salt and pepper, sugar and
Well,
spice.
The injuries you were describing that he went through, that's literal shell shock.
Yeah.
Plus the
Yeah.
emotional thing. And I find it interesting how they'll call it shell shock, like at the end of World War One, and then they like to change the name of that. But that post-traumatic stress is really hard on a lot of them. Experiences and things they go through, especially in wartime.
Yeah, no, recently we just had a reunion with my lost adopted uncle. He came back into our life again, and we were very blessed to know that he's well and he's starting to recover from his seizure. He's a self-Vietnamese veteran who was shot in the head. There's still a bullet that is in his brain, and has caused him a lot of seizure and all those PTSD that he had suffered. So he was we're very thankful to be able to find him, and now he's back in our life. So yeah, war is no joke. It's has a lot of grief in so many ways in general, generations, I think, as well. But I guess if you look in I don't know, the bright side of that is an opportunity to learn more about compassion, right?
Even forgiveness, actually.
Yeah, forgiveness. So yeah, it's pretty rough. But I hope hopefully that, like John said too, to make sure that we continue to kind of talk about these stories and never kind of just forget about it, because it can repeat. And kids will learn from it. Kind of like with when I grew up, I didn't grow up in Asia, right? With all my siblings' experiences with the fall of the self-government in Vietnam and that whole transition. So my dad was able to, he was able to set things aside. So when that transition happened, there was lack of food, supplies, everything just, your life just flipped upside down. And people were starving, and yet we still have food, not a lot, but, it kept us afloat for some time. So stories like that, it kind of ingrains in you, and then kind of shapes your perspective and how it can happen again, So we just be grateful about these reminders. So the Veterans Day, today it's a wonderful reminder.
Well, soon it won't be Veterans Day anymore. Right, Jane?
Oh well,
Hey.
I'm already.
Well, yeah, you're already November 12th, right? Yeah. So anyway, I understand that this lunar eclipse that's coming up, it's got some really unusual characteristics, and I haven't had time because of everything going on to do too much research on it. But they say the last time that it happened was like when Machu Picchu, I didn't say that right. I need my dad's Spanish. Anyway, was being built. So apparently it's a really lengthy lunar eclipse. Has anybody heard about that?
Hours.
Being longer in length than usual?
Yeah, they said it's going to be a couple of hours. I think up to 3 hours.
Anyway, I guess the last time that happened was like 500 years ago or longer. I don't know. And then we got another eclipse coming up in December, a solar eclipse, and it goes over the Antarctica. I didn't know that was possible. So just a couple lunar and solar events coming up.
I think John just lost connection. Oh, here it is.
Oh, he will be back.
Oh.
I think we're into something, Scott, because these lunar eclipses, solar eclipses, they will bring forth more not just clarity, but also things will be revealed. But maybe John has more to tell about it.
Well, can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah, really good.
Okay. Because
yeah, you sound great, John.
I tried to say something, but you guys just kept on talking as if I didn't say anything. So
for a minute you were gone.
Yeah,
so I think you're back.
We lost you for a bit.
Yeah, so go ahead.
On the lunar eclipse, it's supposed to go for at least just under 3 hours. And this one, what my colleagues are saying, this is the door of change. This is when this is when you can open doors to change who and what you are and change your perspective. A lot of transformations will happen. Some might not be what you really want, but it's what it's what you need. Another thing, the last time that this happened was when the last gates closed up.
Interesting.
So there's a good chance that this could be what will open the gates back up. Maybe not all of them, but probably some of them will open with this. Where we don't
what gates you are referring to?
we don't know which ones. We just know that some of the gates will open up. I doubt if any of the big gates will open. These will probably be small, smaller gates that could lead to allowing in small traces of magic again. Or it could be the gates that are locking down our gifts so that all we have are the mind gifts. Because there are different types of gates. There wasn't just gates to travel from one place to another. There were gates that were used to assist in creating creatures and using that energy to create civilizations, cities, weapons, fortresses. So it just depends on how you see the use of that energy. So people like us that do a lot with dragon energy, we can use that extra energy to amplify the dragon orbs that we make. It could also unlock some of our DNA, which is where a lot of our gifts are dormant, is in our DNA. So these gates will assist with that. And we have no knowledge. We have very little information, and most of it is so vague that it adds more questions. The last time that this eclipse happened, a lot of the gates that were in South America went into fluctuation and basically burned themselves out. Those gates probably will never open back up again. Or if they do, they may be unstable and not usable. We don't know. So there's a number of groups watching this very closely. Not just my groups, but other groups. There is actually even a group who is in Spain that is watching one of the gates that they know used to allow magic in from this world. So they're watching it to see if anything happens. But that's about all the information that I have right now. So pay attention to your body. Pay attention to the sensations around you. If these do open and they do affect you, you will know almost instantaneously. Start asking questions. See what opened. See what's coming through. And try to keep a positive format in your brain. So you don't want any emotional thoughts. You don't want any negative thoughts. If you're frustrated, make sure you clear that out so you don't hurt anyone, especially yourself. Try to keep the positive going through the whole eclipse and then afterwards. The first 24 hours are going to be when you'll notice a lot of things happening. That's our guess, anyhow.
So it's November 19th is what it says here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also get that the truth will unravel more and more for the coming weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Also, because of this eclipse. And yeah, the 11/11 also has opened up a lot of connections. And I will testify this because I've had some very wild days and nights prior to the 11/11. And now I'm back in shape again. So,
Cool.
yeah, it's cool.
You're feeling better? That
Yeah.
Oh.
So you were talking about the other day?
Yeah, you know, I have more energy at least, and it's a slow progress. But I tell you, the 10th, I was sleeping 3 times during, the whole day within 24 hours. And the next day I was, woohoo! I've been sleeping a lot lately and almost like for a year. And I've never been a sleepy person, always been very, jump off the bed and ready to take to the world almost. But yeah, I'm not grumpy, I'm not lazy, I'm not slow-mo. But that's how I felt for a year. Like my hand is just dragging beside me, behind my body, and now I'm back.
I thought this was a dragon group, not a dragonette group.
I don't know.
Oh,
There's a
come
few
on.
that I wonder about.
Oh, yeah, tell me.
Well, they're not in the room, so they can't defend themselves, so I'm not going to say anything.
Hey, I had a questions that maybe you guys can help me with. When I look at this full moon on the 19th, it says the zodiac is in Taurus and Gemini. What does that mean? Having an eclipse in Taurus and Gemini.
One is the rising, and the other is the lunar, I believe. Don't quote me. But this eclipse is usually when you have it in 2 houses, it'll affect those houses. So whatever house that is, I don't know all the astrology, but each house has a different representation inside of us. And so that's what's going to affect us. You said Gemini?
Yeah.
That's duality. So that is your different personalities. I don't remember what Taurus is. I think that it's the bullheadedness, or the head down and just go sort of mentality. So that's going to affect it as well.
Stubbornness.
It's also about the body, because Taurus is known to be very, about the body, the physical aspect of it.
Oh, it's also very spontaneous.
Yeah.
Very spontaneous things. You don't think it through, and you just go. You react. And a lot of Tauruses are like that. It's like sometimes they don't think through what they're supposed to be thinking through, and then they pay for it.
I don't know about that one. At least with I live with a Taurus, so I wanted to go back to you about the lunar eclipse. What's going on right now? Have you been following Astro World? That whole fiasco that's going on. Over here, that they had a music festival. It's called Astro World, right?
You're talking about the Scott Travis concert.
Yeah. So have you guys been following that?
No.
Yeah, it's down in Texas.
It's very weird. It so much could have happened with sound and frequency other than just the crowds moving back and forth.
Yeah. So stuff are coming out. They basically there's a music festival from the singer Scott Travis, and the whole theme is like see you on the other side, through the other side of the portal, and it's very satanic. It has a lot of demonic things going on. There's like the platform is like a inverted cross that goes into it.
You can go online and look at how the stage was set up, and you're just gonna go, "What is this?"
Yeah, and 8 people actually died.
Very sad.
In that festival, not the music festival or music concert, a lot of people are start looking into the symbologies, and especially around this time when we're talking about portals and gates opening. I wonder if it has a lot to do with that. What's going on? They're trying to control our timeline with these. I would just call it as sacrificial practices. But yeah, that's what's going on. That just went out like last week. So
yeah, we never did get good numbers on what happened, and the it's like they talked about 11 people, but then you would hear people saying there was even more than that just in the little area where they were at. It just seems to be a lot of fishiness about everything about it. In the report.
Well, this is something that I know about. Some of this is going on. There are the groups that are trying to unbalance the flow, and they don't have a lot of knowledge, but they have a lot of enthusiasm, and they're, I hate to use this word, but it's the truth, a lot of sheep are flocking to them because it's like they have nowhere else to flock to. And so, or I should say, it's more like lemmings and the cliff. There's a lot of people that are they're just blindly trusting, and they're looking for that thing. The satanic thing, yes, that's been popping up a lot lately, but it's with people that don't know what they're doing. Even some of the Satanists who've been around forever, they're calling them morons. They're calling them stupid because they're misrepresenting what Satanism is, and it's like, so it's more of a cult mentality.
So you're kind of saying they're amateurs at this.
Basically, a lot of them don't know what they're really doing, and they're just blindly following someone who read a couple of books.
But their symbolism seems very similar.
Oh yeah. They're that symbolism is all over the place, and everyone puts an inverted cross and they call themselves a Satanist when they're not. If you really look at the true Satanism religion, it is pretty complex, but it's pretty. There's a lot of things in there. Like one of the things that you can't do is you can't force yourself on anyone. You have to have consent, and that is in the Satan.
That didn't seem to happen at the Travis concert at all.
That's what I said. That's a bunch of amateurs doing what they want.
Yeah, that actually, I kind of see that what John's saying too, because you look at these like deep families and higher ups where they're indoctrinating you into suggestions, right? So that way you subconsciously agree with these information or symbologies, and by you not doing anything, you are inherently agreeing to the outcome of what they want to change the timeline to. But they're following that, and this is a reference to Law 1, which is even those who are service of self and service of others, there's an understanding of the free will. So if the darkness affects your free will, then there is more light that can compensate to balance it out. But they don't want that, right? They want to shift humanity to the dark, but it has to be humanity's choice. So what they do is they do a lot of subconscious, like a lot of these what do you call it, like manipulating type of suggestions. There's a word for it, I can't recall right now.
Manipulation.
Yes.
Also to spread fear and to disempower the followers. I mean, you can find it also outside those who claim they are into cults or occult cults or Satanism. I mean, you can even find them in cults or organizations or political organizations that claims they are working for the benefit of all. And they all have the same clues or same steps. And it always starts with manipulation.
Yeah, so
Well,
it's like
also,
the same playbook.
Yeah.
John?
you got to remember, you have to remember that it's not just the negative groups. There is some that are saying that they're following God,
Oh, yeah.
and they are, their agenda isn't actually very positive, and but yet they're doing it in the name of God, and that's the thing. This is why I tell people, find your own religion. Don't follow another religion. Create your own religion, because there are aspects of every religion that fit you, and you can feel them. You feel them resonating. But you're not Catholic, you're not Christian, you're not Jewish. You are a hybrid that you created. And that is the thing that we really need to be doing, because we all believe in a creator. But it's like certain religions it's this way, certain religions is that way, certain religions is that way. Whatever resonates for you, that is what you're supposed to believe. And we've been told, oh, you can only be in one religion. No, that's balderdash. You can be in what feels right to you. I mean, and if something, I outgrow something in my belief system, but I run across someone that resonates, I'll switch them out. And that's how I've been for a very long time. I mean, when I was younger, my mom let me go to various churches, and it's like there's a lot of it that I really did not feel right about, but there are little pieces. It's like, I like that. That I can believe in. That I can get behind, and that I can get behind. So I meshed them together, and I basically created my own religion. There's only me and my connection to the Creator.
And I think that's
I mean,
really the spiritual path, right, John? That's like your path, your spiritual journey.
Well, it's a
you're
little
not
more than that.
Yeah, I like it to compare it to like, like a fish in a jar, like a bucket, but the jar is inside the ocean.
Yep.
That's kind of like religion, right? You see all these aspects, but you're still confined in this glass, that invisible glass. So you keep hitting the wall. So you're just basically taking that out, and you have free roam.
Yeah. You can follow any belief system you wish that fits you, that feels right. And this is why I get very upset, because I see people who say, oh, I'm a Christian, but they do these other things. And I'm going, no, you are a Christian that is following bits of Buddhism, bits of Hinduism, and bits of Judaism, and you've blended them together to make your own religion.
Wait, the worst question people ask me is, are you a Christian? And then my first thought is if I say yes, what Christian do they think I'm answering that I'm a Christian to?
Mm-hmm.
Out of, 1,500 different, probably established Christian churches or more. And it's like, I don't know. I don't like to say, yeah, I'm a Christian. Now put me in a box and think of me a certain way. But
and that's what they try to do.
Yeah. So I struggle with that. And the word amen, I don't like that, because that's like homage to Amun-Ra. No one realizes that. And then they say, would you leave a blessing with us? And it's like, you want me to leave you a be less? Be less than you are? So I get frustrated with religion and language and all of that stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't believe in Christ, that I have I'm hesitant to even answer if I'm a Christian. I think Christ is just over here hanging out with Buddha, and they're all laughing at how hard it is for
Having
us
a
to
tea
figure out.
party, really.
Christ
So-
was a teacher. Christ was a teacher. He never wanted to be worshipped. He never wanted to be put in a pedestal. He was placed in that pedestal after he had died. And it was placed there by people who wanted to use him to control others.
Yeah.
And
Same story all over again.
And that's why when someone asked me, they said, "What religion are you?" I say, "I'm a naturalist." Because I am. I am into nature.
You know what they do here?
I mean, I literally, I don't answer their question the way they want to hear it, because they say, "Well, that's not a religion." I go, "Yes, it is. It is my religion. I have taken what fits me and I've made it my religion. You wanted a title, I gave you a title."
So
And
no
that's
one
what
looks
blows
at you
them
funny way when you say you are a naturalist and thinking, oh, you're because
You
it
pictured
means
him
nothing
naked,
else here
didn't you?
where I live.
So,
He might not be wearing
most of the
pants right
time,
now. Who knows?
it's like I basically got dressed to come on this. I usually am naked.
Okay.
I mean,
Thank you,
I
John.
literally, if I had my druthers, I would not wear clothes at all. But you know, we
Okay,
can't do that.
that's a fish show.
Yeah, I totally understand when you say you're
Thank
an
you.
naturalist.
But the thing is that it's a lot of these words that are being used by the Christians and all of that, they were taken from other belief systems. I mean, they robbed a lot from the Celts.
Yeah.
They've taken from other indigenous areas, and some of them, when you give them the history, it literally will blow their mind. It's like every time you do a birthday party, you are doing a ritual. Think about it. You got a cake. You put candles on the cake. You sing happy birthday. You're doing a ritual.
And don't those candles represent life
Yes.
and light? And then we blow them out?
Yep.
Doesn't that seem twisted when you
Uh-huh.
think about it?
And then Easter. The original reason why eggs were put out for people to find was it was a fertility rite originally. Yeah, as they stole from the Celts, they stole from the Greeks. Getting married, putting a ring on the finger. Aphrodite was the first one to marry anyone, and she took these strands of ivy, wove them together, and transformed them into silver and made the first set of wedding rings. When you are giving your pledges, you're giving your pledges not only to each other, but to the goddess of love. And you're putting her symbol on your finger.
Oh, John, I guess I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
But
Aphrodite.
seriously, it's like a lot of the stuff with the Christians go, oh, this is good, but let's rewrite it so it fits for us. But it's still taken from other cultures.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly normal because it happens all the time. You know, not outside of religion too, culturally. I mean, even neighbors, you know, you get a good idea, you kind of, it's nice what they're doing. You take that and you incorporate it into your, I don't know, daily routines. So that's, you know, that's a small scope of things, but I can see it across cultures, tribes, nations, religions, you know. I think it's a very human thing.
Oh yeah.
It helps us
it's
evolve. And
it's actually a very animal thing. It goes back to the instincts.
Yeah.
Even animals do things like this. but they do it in a different way than we do. So
Yeah, it's just part of adapting. I think it's seems okay with that.
It's part of the survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
It's either A, you are a predator, and you are trying to talk the sheep into being your friends, so you have your food supply right there. Or you're the hunter, and you're out hunting for food for everyone. Or you're a follower. You want someone else to lead. You want someone else to make all the decisions. Those are the three main ones. There's a few others, but those are the three main ones. And then there are people like us who we don't fit in any of those boxes. We kind of do a little of each one of them, but we are not a dominant. We are a unity. We work as a team to make things work. And that is the one that was, it used to be the biggest one. And then it dropped down to one that is one of the lowest ones. So we got to move that unity back up. We got to bring it back up where there is no real leader, but everyone has a say. And it's happening in cultures around the world where they got rid of their Congress, and then they have it's all about the vote. Each person has the ability to vote in these little town communities, and everyone, you can't just say yes, no. You have to explain why you're making this decision. And then a group will read these, and from that, they get the consensus of the whole town. So,
That's the thing.
Jane's being funny now. He's had too much coffee.
Well, it's not in the middle of the night for her. You know, the other things sometimes people say is, what would Jesus do? And I've always had fun responding. I think he would turn over the tables and pull out a whip. And then you'd be like, what?
What would Jesus do?
Yeah, he would turn over the tables. He would go after the money changers.
I think he was a prankster, to be honest. I think he was a funny guy.
I hear he has a wicked sense of humor.
Yep.
From people that really know him well.
Well, this is the thing. Jesus taught lessons. And if he didn't like the lesson people were trying to teach, he reshaped it using words and actions. I mean, he did a lot of things for the poor in empowerment. He empowered them to think of themselves as something other than a lost cause. Yes, and this has been presented a few times. Back, oh God, I think it was in the 80s, there was an earthquake that hit Vatican City, and a wall section fell in the catacombs, and there were some tiles and scrolls that were found and grabbed and translated, and a lot of the information in there, the church is trying to say, oh, that doesn't exist, but they've got the tiles, they've got the scrolls. And I mean, there's been a battle between the Vatican and the people that have these scrolls, trying to get them back so they can hide them again. But it was actual
more knowledge, huh?
Well,
sorry.
Let me finish. It was excerpts from Jesus talking about how stuffy these I can't remember what the word was used, but basically all of the bigwigs, all the people of might, he called them idiotic, and he called them stuffy and boring. Didn't use those words, but that's what they would translate to. And he was all about joy. He was all about love. He was all about laughter. He was all about singing
And including.
Doing everything as a group. And the decision, there are 3 stories that are still floating around. Jesus made the decision to sacrifice himself. Jesus had no say in what was happening to him. He just had to go along with it. And then the third one was that they just wanted a scapegoat and he was it. So no matter what, he's going to be sacrificed anyhow.
You know,
And
go ahead, John. I was just going to add to you what you're going to say afterward.
And that's the thing. We do not know exactly what transpired. We got what the church says. We've got, well, the Bible was written by these men who possibly embellished a lot, and we've actually been proving that there's a number of things that have been embellished in the Bible. And then you had people who rewrote the Bible to their own pleasures. And that's the sad part.
Translation after translation, huh? As well.
I think, and this is the thing. Even some of the top rabbis say that there are words in the original scripts that we have no meaning for. So they guessed. They guessed at these meanings. Oh, this is probably what they meant. And I mean, the first original Bibles, it was all male-oriented. Women really weren't considered of anything. It was in later transcripts where things have changed a little bit, but not completely. So it's like, until someone is brave enough to acquire a time machine and go back in time and sit down and have a conversation with Jesus, we're not going to know the truth.
So I'll add to that too, John. You know, like about this whole idea of time travel and meeting Jesus. There are some sources that have been out there for some time now that are actually published by archbishops. I don't know, not the current ones, maybe a few years back or 40 years back or something like that, mentioning that, you know, the Catholic Church have this time machine looking glass, but it's not a looking glass that we come to know, like a current technology that we may have built out when we hear the word looking glass. It's an older form of a looking glass, back in as far as like the 1600s or something like that, and they have been using this to tap into the past. Yeah, but from what he was explaining was that it's back in like in those times, right? Time period, and that technology may even go further back, and I'm sure it is. But the story was that it was around that time, as far as he's aware, that they have already been looking into what Jesus looks like and what he did and things like that, you know, and many other things. And so there's that possibility that we do have that technology. And a lot of, if you search and go through that rabbit hole, there is a lot of circumstances that would suggest that we do have this technology. But in any case, going back to Jesus again, I was going to share this book that I have. Let me pull it up, because it's related to John's talking about. Can I do this? Yeah, I can share screen. And then I can go to tab over here. Here it is. Is it going to work? I don't know. I haven't tried this before. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Small. It's really
Yes.
small. I
Yes,
can't.
Okay, let me double check what I look like. Okay, cool. So that's what it looks. Okay, so this book I bought, maybe not this edition, but it's called like The Q. And it's a compilations of different words from Jesus, from the Bible all the way to the Gospels, other Gospels that wasn't included in the Bible. And what they're trying to do is find consistencies between different observers of, Jesus, right, and what he said, because they see that there's correlations of what different people are saying, and that if you analyze it, then you would conclude that most likely there's a source that it's before that these people have written down and their own like perspective, right? That there's an original source. So this is like a more like a research book, and they compile it into different words that they think that there must be another book, another source that's older, that's closer to the timeline of Jesus when he was around. Because obviously we know that all these books are written like years and years afterward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this, if you read this book, which I haven't finished yet, it's quite aligned to what you're just saying about Jesus, where he's self-empowering other people, making changes. But those words comes from a way where it's kind of in parables, so that way you're not really affecting people's free wills, in that sense. So let me stop sharing this. Let me switch back. Okay, so it's back now. We're using a new platform for viewers, so this is StreamYard, and we're switching it out and just getting used to it now. But in any case, there's another book that I just got, and I talked to Jane about it. It's called Pisting Sophia, which is a compilation of other Gnostic books. And when I read this book, right, some of the phrases, they even talk about things like dragons, right, and many other things in it. And the amount of information is so complex and so broad. It even talks about the cosmos, and it's all complexity. Makes the Bible that we're reading right now very kind of like a child's book compared to these more complicated books that are coming from the Gnostics. So the more you read it, and you're like, wow, you really have to think through, like, I know in the Hindus, right, culture, their cosmology is very complex, but it's very encompassing. Even in the Buddhist, Tibetan and all that different sect, and then I don't know, Jain and some other ones too, right? Their cosmology is so complex. But I always had a weird thing about, like, why is it the Bible is so simple? It seems like it was missing a lot of things.
Yeah.
But who knew that all this complexity was left out?
For a reason.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense.
That is because they were wanting to set something up for the sheep.
Right.
Because they thought people were so simple-minded that if you threw anything complex at them, it will chase them away. So they put these little carrots in for people to go, ooh. Some of the stories, which we've now, they've actually proven a few of them are fabricated, but they were so enticing. They were so alluring. People went, oh, wow. And they believed it.
Yeah.
But I want to touch bases on something that will help with this information on what you call the looking glass.
I'm going to change topic now.
The ancients created these mirrors. They could use some of them to transport themselves to other places, but also to other worlds. But they also had ones that they could observe people in other time periods. Now, we don't know if they had sound or not, but there is a painting that was done in the 15th century. And it is a very interesting painting, but it shows a man sitting, looking through a window at another landscape. And there are people in it, and they're watching it. Now, this isn't some famous, fancy artwork from a famous artisan. It was found in a village in Greece. But the details that were in the mirror were so precise. And these mirrors, there are still some of them out there. They actually think they found one in Pompeii. One of my colleagues who's on that dig and has been, he's been there, he's had 3 rotations already there. And he says his group, they found it. It was broken, but they said that the glass was painful to look at. It was as if it was a fractured dimension, was what was described. Now, they haven't reported this mirror. They haven't reported this find because it unnerves them so much. There's actually 2 mirrors in the Louvre that we know of, because we know the private collector who had them. He was one of our people. When I first started, he was 91, and the one mirror he showed us, and it showed a landscape. The earth was purple. The trees were gold and red, and there were 3 suns and 17 moons. And that mirror and another one, a smaller one, is in the Louvre. And from what we heard, they have them locked down in a room somewhere because they're so fearful about anyone finding out about these mirrors. We do not know how many mirrors there were that were created. We do know that a good percentage of them was created on one of the islands connected to Atlantis. But there was another place in the middle of a lake. There was an island in somewhere in the Germanic Russia area. We're not sure exactly where, but this island had alchemists, glassmakers, metalsmiths, all living together, and their sole purpose was to create these mirrors. And these mirrors can go from the size of a hand mirror up to the size of, I think one of the descriptions that we got was 20 feet by 50 feet. And those mirrors were used as gates to bring large amounts of people and product through from other worlds. And they were made of a blue stone. The framework was made of a blue stone, and when they attuned the gate, it was like this mercury-esque like fog that would solidify and show you wherever you were going. And they even stated that they could attune it to different places.
That's pretty cool. It's almost like what's that movie called? Stargate? You know, they have like, yeah.
And that's
I
what they've
seriously
been
think that
calling
was
these.
like,
They're Stargate.
it's so confusing. Like people will be like at one point, and when all this thing opened, I'm like, dang, it's like I've seen this, and through all the movies and everything, and it's gonna shock people, if we ever get that opportunity to, hopefully sooner than later, for these information to come out. Wow, it's gonna be amazing, huh?
Oh yeah, and some of us that have been sitting on information, because there are those who hunt down people who are presenting information that goes against what they are calling normality.
Yeah. And I know we're yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off. Sometimes it's hard to hear you, right? Because there's like a lag. And I think we struggle with that right now too. But anyhow,
Yeah.
you were saying.
Last year, we lost 2,000 people from some of the groups that I'm associated with. Even if I'm not in their group, I know their group. But top psychics, top healers, people who are in the science community who are more doing metaphysical science, they've disappeared without a trace. Some have even their purse or their wallet was still left in the house. The stove was on, but they vanished without a trace. And we still have no clue where they are. They have not surfaced yet. None of them.
Very interesting. I mean, it's sad, but very interesting.
And the thing is they were talking about something that was probably considered taboo, and it was right after that they disappeared. So there's a number of higher up psychics and stuff that are a little leery about talking about what they know.
Yeah.
It's like the information that I'm giving you guys is really basic and is already out there. You can, if you really hunt for it, you can find it. So we're not in any danger. But you start talking quantum doorways. That's the newest one. The guy who was talking about quantum doorways disappeared on January, a week after he was talking about them.
Some people suggest that these people who are making these discoveries, it could be they have been invited to these secret space programs or these offshore human civilizations to do, work. So it's quite a mystery what's going on these days,
I've heard that. Why would they leave the stove on? Why would they not take their ID or their medicines that they need?
Yeah.
Or even their eyeglasses. It's like they basically just poof.
Yeah.
Disappear. So
and,
yeah, there's a lot of questions that haven't been answered.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that's going to lead us to another a separate topic next week where we can go more in deep on that. But we just, we're up an hour now. I think we usually try to keep it at an hour now. So now for some self-promotion. So if you like what we're doing, you want to support us, let me turn this thing on. Go check out Buy Me a Coffee and Radiate Up, and then you can do it that way to help support us, and and also let us know what kind of topic you want to talk about. If you want to know more, we can dive deeper into those subjects as well too. So any last words?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here tonight. This is a fun topic. So, but give us some feedback on what you would like to talk about, and we're here for you. We want to just talk about the weird things that keep us up in the night, and there's many of those things.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna have some other programs in the future.
Mhm.
Depends on what direction we can go. You know, discussing about these type of things, or even going to the future, exploring the futures with remote viewings and so many other things that we can go into. I know Radiate Up, we are also really pushing forward with the energy healing and, you know, self-empowerment with information. And also, Scott, I know you don't like this word, blessings, you know, healing energies. We need to find another word for that, you
I
know,
don't
so you
mind
don't
it.
cringe.
If the intent's there to help people,
Yeah.
the only thing is it's just like somebody's working against us.
Yeah.
You know, in our language in so many different ways. And I think like the earlier show, the Radiate Up, I think they really hit on some really important things of the unity and bringing people together. And I think that's what we really learned quickly is that there is a unity in love. You
Yeah.
know, we find love. We were talking about Christ. You find, you know, that message that he had has got all the power that we need to combat this. I don't know what you want to call it, but you know, like that Travis concert, something
Oh,
going on that's
yeah.
that really shouldn't be going on, and the people that are for good, where we just need to get together and pull our sources together, and hopefully something is coming our way to help us. You know, this idea of gates opening or gifting us. You know, you could probably look in the Bible and translate a lot of it to say, well, maybe that's what that's talking about.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
definitely.
know, there are a lot of ways that we will be blessed or be better or be more.
Yeah.
Just like
So-
what
So on
John.
that, I like to say, yeah, just I guess we're coming to a close on 125, and we'll see you for 126.
Yeah, we're trying, but I think is also we're trying to do a little bit more self promotion as well too. Right? So I'm gonna pass it to John. I know he has a buy me a coffee and he does a lot of things. So, you know, take it out. You know, go for it, John. Well, what's up in your neck of the wood? What you're doing, and you know, I know you have a buy me a coffee, so maybe you want to share that to the audience as well.
I haven't done anything on it because I can't put what I want to put on it.
Okay. Well,
So
they can still go there.
Looking into.
They can still go there and, you know, donate or whatever, and then we can work through that later. You know.
Well,
I'm
we
actually
definitely
looking
need
into
more coffee if we're going to be up, right?
Man, we're getting cut off. Sorry.
Huh?
There's too many speaking crossing. It's hard to hear, but can you say again, John?
I'm actually looking into Patreon because I can put videos without all the complex crap. And I'm not a complex person. As you saw earlier, I need it all simplified. And there's way too many steps for buying me a coffee. Unless I can get it simplified some way where I just have to do click, 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 and I'm done. It's not working for me.
Okay.
I need something simple because I'm a simple person. I really need something that's not gonna. If it's more than 3 steps, it's beyond me. And buy me a coffee is more than 3 steps.
Yeah. Well, it's buy me a coffee. And we won't go there, but it takes away a lot more complexity from Patreon and other things. It's just you just send a post. It's just, you know, it's just simple like that. If you want to do more different features and flex, yeah, then you go to other services. But we try to keep it simple. You know, but it's up to you. You can go through the different things, but just let them know where they can reach you, your services.
Well, right now, I am doing 2 shows a week on Facebook. I have one on Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific time called Spiritual Intuitive Circle, and I do talk about all different subjects and things. And then on Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, I do Dragon Visions, and I talk things dragons, or the dragons will give you prayers and healing energies and readings. You get micro readings after each show. I'm also every day, and unfortunately the time changes, it's all over the place, but I'm doing dragon sound therapy. I'm playing a drum that I got, and I have noticed some major changes. It's like I'm down to 229. I have lost a lot of weight, and a lot of my health issues, my little basic health issues, have gone away since I've started this playing this drum. And sound therapy is really something good for people. So I share that. Plus, I have classes that I'm teaching, and I do consultations. So you can either get a hold of me on Facebook, or you can get a hold of me at bogayy36@gmail.com and send me an email. And I've been doing a lot of this for a number of years. So
Awesome. And I'm gonna give this time also to Jane. If you wanna share your services too.
Oh, thank you. Well, I do a third eye reading, Akashic reading, and healing. I have different healing modalities, and I just combine them into one. And I'm also empowered by dragon activation blessings. So this amplifies everything, all your abilities, and clears a lot of karma as well. And it urges you to transform yourself more and more, combined with all other esoteric readings and teachings and whatever you are interested in. So I'm very grateful for that. So please connect with me. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also working with Jung here to make a website for me. So we are pretty much closed up soon with that. So we will definitely share that link as well.
Yeah. But
Thank
do
you.
reach out to Jane too. She has amazing healing abilities and all this amazing stuff. I've had her, her reading. It's amazing. So connect with her. I know, Scott, you want to share anything? We're going to try to, this is kind of like a new thing, we're trying to self-promote, so it might take a little long, but we're going to make it shorter for each time. Sharper Thursday.
I wasn't expecting a promo for myself, but
we do it
actually
for 2021.
Project right now that I'm hoping to have done in time for Christmas, but I'm working on a calendar. So I kind of want input on what of my art people are going to want on it, but it'll have 2 Decembers. So I've got most of that art together, and then I'm also working on a book that hopefully will be published next year. But a lot of the art is coming together this year, and for sure I want to start to promote at least a little calendar. So I'm hoping to have that printed sometime. It's been a little chaotic this week for me, but I'm hoping to have it done so that December it'll be available.
Nice.
And also you can find me on pilled.net or the Foxhole and follow me there. I'm Pilled by the Rabbit is what I'm known there by. And I'm hoping to get a channel there that we can link back and forth together with this. And it's monetized with gold pills. So you go there, you set up an account, it's free. There's gold pills. You'll be able to support whoever you want with those gold pills. So anyway, and then hopefully we'll have a buy a coffee. You figured that one out as well.
Yeah.
Young has been working on that for quite a while and building a web page. So you should start to see some ways that you can support us, because it'd be nice to have a little bit of support for the time and energy we put into this. So
yeah. And Dr. Judy, do you have anything? I know you've been quiet, but we had a show earlier, and so you're.
Yeah. So, yeah, like that little stream there. Buy us a coffee if you'll enjoy the show. Radiate Up, buy us a coffee, and you want to really tap into your full potential of who you are. And if you want to really discover, dragon activations, that's what our team does. Look us up, Radiate Up, Dragon Activations.
All right. So I think that's gonna, we're over 15 minutes now, but that's gonna sum everything up. And we're glad to be back with y'all. And hopefully we can be more consistent. It's just, we had to take a break for many reasons. But till then, we'll see you every Thursday night.
Catch you on the flip side.
See ya.
Bye.